This is Infiniti Q50. It's been on the market for some time now, and it competes with the likes of the Audi A4, BMW 3 Series, Lexus IS or Mercedes-Benz C-Class. At the beginning, the Q50 was available with a 2.2 diesel or a hybrid drivetrain. The 170 horsepower diesel propels the Q50 from standstill to 100 km per hour in 8.5 seconds. Despite putting out 400 Nm of torque, the car is not particularly flexible due to the slow automatic gearbox. The hybrid has 364 horsepower and 545 Nm of torque. It is fast, and because it has an automatic instead of a CVT, it sounds rather good. And now we also get a 4-cylinder turbocharged 211 horsepower engine with 350 Nm of torque. Taking into account diesel's weak dynamics and the hybrid's hefty price tag, could we be looking at a winner here? The good news is a full-size 500-litre boot. In the hybrid, batteries take away 100 litres. All competitors have 480-litre boots, so this is a point for Infiniti. On paper, the Q50 has the longest wheelbase among the competitors. However, from where I'm sitting, well, I can't tell the difference really. And there is also the huge tunnel, which is also a problem with all the rear-wheel drive cars and even some front-wheel drive cars. The most interesting element in the front, which makes the car stand out from the competition, is the double display infotainment system. Both of these are touchscreens. There's a map on the top one, and for reasons which remain obscure to me, when somebody calls me, I see the phone-related buttons on the top screen instead of the map. All other settings are on the bottom screen. These include systems assisting the driver and mobile apps, which I can apparently download from somewhere, but so far I had no success. There is also a knob for the sat-nav. In early 2014, I said this is the best infotainment system out there. Today, I no longer think that. The sat-nav graphics are outdated and there are no online functions for it. And the mobile apps that you can theoretically download here, let me put it this way, the Germans haven't figured it out just yet. They're not perfect, but they're much better than what Infiniti offers here. An interesting feature is the direct adaptive steering. It's a so-called drive-by-wire system. Now, before you panic, don't, because Infiniti, just in case, left a steering column in there. It's disconnected most of the time, so most of the time my inputs are sent to the steering rack through cables, but should something go spectacularly wrong, spectacularly bad, then there is a little clutch. The clutch engages the traditional steering column, and hopefully you can sort of stop this car safely and call for help. Under normal circumstances, there is no physical connection between the steering wheel and the steering rack. The benefit is that there is a lot of freedom in how you can engineer the feel of the steering. I realize this is a big and expensive game console, but in sports mode the engineers managed to recreate very direct, sporty feel. It's not something you expect from a fat sedan with a 2-liter 4-banger. Because Infiniti Q50 is not just the heaviest in its class, it's about 100 kilograms heavier than Lexus IS, about 200 kilograms heavier than the equivalent Audi A4, and when it comes to BMW and Merc, it's even worse. You can cheat on steering and suspension and make this car handle sporty. However, what you cannot cheat is the trip computer, fuel economy computer down here. Infiniti promises this car will do 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers in the combined cycle, and in reality, getting anywhere around 9 liters per 100 kilometers will be a big achievement. Because of this extra weight, the Infiniti Q50 is also about half a second slower from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour than the equivalent Mercedes C250. Why equivalent? Because Mercedes C250 has the same engine, the 211 horsepower 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. let's get back to the steering for a moment. As I mentioned before, in dynamic mode, the steering is quite good at imitating the established rivals. To a point, the faster the Q50 is going through the bends, the more artificial the steering feels. Also, if you try to enjoy the benefits of rear-wheel drive, the steering does not cope very well, and it turns out you cannot switch off traction control at all. You can switch off ESP, but the traction control stays there and it watches over you and this slightly slow steering. But in normal, everyday driving, you still feel like Sebastian Vettel. Seats are comfortable, minus the headrests, which I think are at a bit of a funny angle. I had to raise the headrest very high, much higher than I would have it normally, and now it's more or less okay, but if it were any lower, I would have to drive like this. So that's not very convenient. The visibility is okay, so I don't mind. The sound insulation is fine, unless of course I step on the accelerator and hear the 2-liter engine come into life. Infiniti offers several driver assist systems. Included in the so-called safety shield is a lane keeping assist, a blind spot monitoring system. There is also this sort of collision mitigating system with emergency forward braking, I think it's called. What this car will do, it'll start braking for you if there is some sort of an emergency, and it works regardless of the adaptive cruise control. So that's quite convenient, because even when you're in the city and someone brakes in front of you, the car will actually start braking even before you do. It's something you have to get used to, and I remember when I drove this car first in early 2014, I was quite annoyed about it, but from time perspective, I think this is a good system. It's well worth it. But as you probably realized, systems like the safety shield here with the active lane assist and that kind of stuff, they are available in many cars from the premium segment and even from the mass popular segment. What this car has, however, is something which is called active lane control, and I shall now demonstrate how it works. Active lane control on here. I'll put on the cruise control so I don't have to touch anything. Let's set the speed at about 100 clicks. So that's that. And I let go of the steering wheel. Now, as you probably know, there are these sort of lane keeping assist, active lane keeping assist systems in various cars. For example, in the Volkswagen Group or in Mercedes-Benz. What they do usually is they sort of correct your lane, the direction that you're going, just in case should you, let's say, fall asleep. But after the car senses that you're not holding the wheel, and it will sense it after about, let's say, 30 seconds or so, it will say, I'm switching off, I don't want you to, well, not to drive. So you have to drive, you have to keep your hands on the wheel. What sometimes journalists do, and probably not only journalists, is they try to cheat the system. And the way to cheat the system is to, let's say, stick a bottle of water, a half-a-liter bottle of water to the steering wheel, or just put it in a hole here, and that usually does the trick. There is some weight, additional weight, and the car thinks that basically that you're driving because it feels some resistance. Now, in this car, as you may notice, I haven't touched the wheel yet, and I've been driving for about, I reset the clock there. I've been driving for about 3 kilometers now without touching the wheel. So let's see where this goes. Now, this may be a bit boring and a bit long, so I shall just probably fast forward what's happening now. But anyway, this is 4 kilometers and I'm still going. Okay guys, so I've done about 12 kilometers in sort of this kind of autonomous mode. I haven't touched the wheel, and I know that my exit is, about 2 kilometers from here. If I don't take this exit, I would probably go all the way to Berlin. Now, there are several toll booths on the way to Berlin, and it would take me, probably 6 to 7 hours with this speed, but I would probably get to Berlin, possibly without touching the wheel, except at the toll booths, because at the toll booths I would have to. Now, I'm almost certain that the Infiniti engineers did not invent an autonomous car just yet. It wasn't their intention. I'm sure that it says somewhere in the manual, which is somewhere there in the glove box, that I am supposed to hold the steering wheel, but it's 14 kilometers now, and I still haven't touched the wheel. I can see my exit now, and before I try to do this without touching the steering wheel, just operating the brake and the gas pedal, let me tell you that if it works or not, okay, there we go. It lost the lane now. So anyway, I think it's still quite possibly the best lane keeping assist, active lane control, the best there is so far, even if it's not exactly supposed to do what it's doing. It's brilliant, this. Yeah, so that's that. Prices of Infiniti Q50 start at around 35,000 euros. The 2-liter petrol starts at 40.5 grand. Prices of the competitors range between 35 and 45 grand, but Infiniti, like Lexus, comes with a lot of standard equipment that the Germans will make you pay for. A lot.
Subscribe to my channel and watch reviews of Lexus IS, hybrid and diesel Infiniti Q50, Mercedes C-Class, and BMW 3 Series. New episodes every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.